Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
What do they want?
Listen to me. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows everything you do. They're pretending, Truman. Do you understand? Everybody's pretending.
I don't know.
No. But my name's not Laura. It's Sylvia. My name's Sylvia.
Sylvia?
Yeah.
Florence, sweetheart, not again.
Hey, wait a minute. Who are you?
I'm her father.
What?
I've never even
Come on,
seen you
sweetie.
before.
We're doing anything.
Please, honey.
He's lying.
Honey, please.
Truman, please.
No,
Don't listen
no.
to him.
Hey,
Everything
what's
I've
going on?
told you is the truth.
Please.
This. It's fake. It's all for you.
I don't
And the
understand.
sky and the
Come on,
sea,
honey.
everything. It's a set.
I don't
It's a
believe-
show. Everybody
You'll be
wants
all right.
you. Please don't
Please,
listen to him.
Laura.
He's gonna lie to you. Watch
What's
this
going
right
on?
now.
I really would like to know what's
Schizophrenia.
going on.
She has episodes.
What?
Oh,
We
no.
tried everything.
No.
Hypnotism,
No,
everything.
don't
Shock
listen to him,
therapy.
Truman.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Truman.
You're not the first. You're not the first.
Truman.
She brings all her boyfriends down here.
What's he saying? Truman, he's lying. Get out of here. Come on, bye.
Don't worry. We're going to
See you in
Fiji.
school.
Fiji. We're moving to
There is
Fiji.
no school.
Fiji?
Thank you.
Oh, you liquidated her, eh? Very resourceful.
Yes, sir. So we'd like you to keep your promise to us, if you please, sir.
Not so fast. Not so fast. I'll have to give the matter a little thought. Go away and come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, but I want to go home now.
You've had plenty of time already.
Yeah. Do not arouse the wrath of the great and powerful Oz. I said come back tomorrow.
If you were really great and powerful, you'd keep your promises.
Do you presume to criticize the great Oz? You ungrateful creatures! Think yourselves lucky that I'm giving you audience tomorrow instead of 20 years from now.
Oh.
The great Oz has spoken.
Oh.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. The great Oz has spoken.
Can I ask about what you said on the telly?
Yes,
Did you mean it?
every word.
You really think that blowing up Parliament's going to make this country a better place?
There's no certainty, only opportunity.
I think you can be pretty certain that if anyone does show up, Creedy will black bag every one of them.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
And you're going to make that happen by blowing up a building?
The building is a symbol, as is the act of destroying it. Symbols are given power by people. Alone, a symbol is meaningless, but with enough people, blowing up a building can change the world.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out?
You've got to get mad. You've got to say,
I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
We're not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chair, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you talking to, Herb?
CGG, Atlanta.
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Herb?
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Ted?
But first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
They're yelling in Baton Rouge.
God damn it. Get up out of your chair.
Son of a bitch! We struck the mother lode!
Stick your head out of the window, open it, and stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore. Just get up from your chairs right now. Go to
Where
the
are you
window.
going? I don't want to see if anybody's
Go to the
yelling.
window, open it, and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another conversation with the Feathered Serpent. I am your host, Kat. Today's conversation with the Feathered Serpent will be based on mostly what is happening right now in the Middle East and in the world. You know, these events have been prophesied, talked about from many different regions, from many different beliefs and teachers. And we really feel this is a major catalyst for this global change. Also, you know, we've talked about before that even if there wasn't these belief systems in place about this massive global change about to happen or is happening, you know, there's just the cosmic change, the Kalaluga and such. We're coming out of this winter season, as the Feathered Serpent explains. So this is a time of massive change. And I believe that for a lot, especially in the Western world, a lot of this is going to get very uncomfortable for people. And what we are striving to share is that one way to navigate this is to, first of all, get comfortable with being uncomfortable and prepare the best you can wherever you are. So we're going to be asking the Feathered Serpent for some of his opinions about what is happening and what this means. He wants to remind us, you know, he has a certain demeanor sometimes, especially when it's relevant to a particular situation, as the unfortunate task of waking people up from a nightmare that so many people are stuck in. He's not here to validate or seduce. He's here to be honest and authentic and complete his mission, which is the Harmony Project. The Harmony Project is what happens after all of this change occurs. It is the end result in the next cosmic stage of evolution and creation. Until that point, we're going to be riding some pretty incredible waves. And really, the Hopi talk about this and they instruct us on how to survive, essentially. We're going to be addressing some of these things, but just keep in mind that demeanor that he takes on to help wake people up can come across quite well. I explain it or describe it as dragon energy. You know, he's a feathered serpent. So this dragon energy is about to come into our awareness right now and share with us exactly what is what. Let's welcome the Feathered Serpent and jump right in. Today is March 8, 2026, and there is lots developing and happening with the current events in the world today. And I am curious to get our Feathered Serpent's opinion about what's happening, why it's happening, and what this means for us.
What's happening is the snow's melting, the spring's coming. What does this mean in English language? It means all your shit's about to change. Get ready. Why? Well, because you've been standing on the ice of an illusion. It's melting. It's not going to be there. Goodbye. How do you know when something is beyond your ability to do anything about it? Like, you know, if you were living 200,000 years ago and there was an ice sheet 2 miles high that started in, you know, the middle of North America and went all the way to the Arctic Circle, you know, that's what you've been living with for 10,000 years. You think it's never going to change, and all of a sudden, like within, you know, months or so, this ice wall begins to melt at such a rate that it just creates huge floods and whatnot. Your whole world's changing. It doesn't matter what your philosophy is, what your religion is, none of that human garbage matters. Okay, these are cosmic events. So cosmic events are precipitating a change in human psychology and human consciousness. This is going to cause everything you know to collapse. And the good thing is to be replaced with something better. Now, if you want to have deeper dives into this kind of stuff, you know, look at Cliff High and Martin Armstrong, two people who use computers and analytics to derive some sense of what's going on. Plus, you can look at a whole bunch of over-the-horizon sources, remote viewers, etc. At this day and age, there's no excuse for not being informed. And yes, it's a challenge with all the AI gobbledygook out there, but if you have any kind of discerning mind at all, or capable of critical thought, it's not that impossible. I know my business partner has a cousin that's in Tel Aviv right now, sent us videos of, like, you know, MIRV warheads landing. I mean, Tel Aviv is being turned into Gaza, karmically so. But the point is that all this stuff has already started. So people are waiting around going, but where's the science? I hear this a lot from like dug in, entrenched retards. Okay. Well, you know, this is not, it's all conspiracy. It's not how, you know, okay, whatever. You won't be able to say that now. Okay. The world has changed. It changed, 8 days ago when all this shit started. And
I hear a lot of like people in Canada saying, like, I think Canada is just feeling like they are so far removed from all of this. And
yeah, well, again, those are stupid people saying stupid things because they're hanging on to hopium that their little fucking insignificant lives aren't going to have to change. Well,
right. They feel like it's all over there and it's going to stay.
No, yeah. But that's been the state every time there's been a goddamn fucking war. Okay. Yeah. They call them world wars for a fucking reason. And if any dullard out there didn't think that fucking economic fucking instability in Europe and Middle East is going to create instability here, well, then you fucking don't know how to fucking add. Okay. So grab a goddamn calculator, give your fucking head a shake and stop drinking all that fucking beer. Okay. And the bottom fucking line is, people, and why I'm talking like this is wake the fuck up. Okay, wake up. Shit's going down. Look, the Hopis have told you what to do. Do not hang on to the shore. I'll be kind enough to, translate the metaphor for you. That means do not be attached to what was. Okay, throw yourself in the river. Keep your basic necessities nailed down. That means your food and water, basic shit. Look in the river with you. The people that are there with you, your new family, your new tribe. Everything's fucking changing. It's not going to go back the way it was. So sad. Move on. Okay. And, this will be this. People can say it's not happening. I heard this when, they did the whole brainwash rot bullshit. Flatten the curve. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. COVID. Yeah. Well, how'd that fucking go for you?
Right.
Well, they lied. And it was a lot more than 2 fucking weeks, right? Like it was more like 2 fucking years. Right. Because they're liars. That's all they do. I mean, essentially, why is this all going on? Well, this has been, discussed in all sorts of mystical texts from all sorts of times. You can say it in whatever, language appeals to you. The battle of good, evil, blah, blah. It's not that. It's really just the, passing of the baton from one energetic state to another. The people that were basically in charge of the previous energetic state aren't in charge of it now. Okay, they're being removed. You can hear in a lot of the counterculture media out there, such as Judge Napolitano, Scott Ritter. There's a bunch of very credible, very experienced analysts out there that are truth tellers. Colonel Douglas McGregor, these kinds of things. Okay, they're apolitical. They're just telling you like what's happening. There's also a good number of Iranian journalists out there that are talking. There's a professor in Iran right now. They're all saying very salient points. And what they're all openly speaking about is that, this is an Epstein army. You know what that's code for? This is an army for the Khazarians / people who manipulate, do all the, banking manipulation, all the blah, blah, blah. Okay. The deep state. Okay. So basically this is a rebellion from the deep state, and what is covered so very thinly with Western civilized value gobbledygook language, which basically means that the West needs to plunder and rob more raw materials or we're bankrupt. Okay. That's why it went after Venezuela. That's why it's going after Iran. And oh, by the way, just today, U.S. has announced plans to steal all of Iran's oil reserves.
Right.
You think that's just a weird coincidence? Well, no, because the wars cost them $1 billion a day. They're already bankrupt. I mean, this is basically robber baron shit. What's happening is the rest of the world's had enough. Okay? We're going to lose. All right? It's a numbers thing, and it's an energetic thing, and it ain't working out well for us. Winter is vibrationally different than summer. Okay.
Right. It's not evil good, but this is what is out there, right? And I explained before, it's all the source. It's all under source, the creator, the creation of everything. It's all the same, but we have got it split up, and now it's like this good versus bad and all this. But besides that, the current systems that are in place, it is just time for those to crash, to end, and like you said, even cosmically with the Kali Luga, it's just cosmically time for these things to shift and change.
Right. Well, as a woman, when you menstruate, Can you do anything about it? No, you're menstruating. Your body's decided it's time to slough off the old cells and replace them with new cells. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And, you know, what causes harm is trying to stop that kind of thing. I mean, you know, you can't, okay, because certain things are beyond you. And this is where we understand that there's things beyond us.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's New Agers going, no, we are creation. Okay, you are a particle of creation. You are not the creation. Okay, so you know, guess what? If all the other particles on the beach decide that it's springtime, it doesn't matter if you still want winter. You're one particle. There's trillions of other particles, and you're outvoted. That's that. We are in a time of we were in a time of low vibrational energetics. I mean, this isn't me saying this. This is anybody who studied it, okay?
Right.
And then this overlays with the science fact of, you know, there's a galactic ecliptic and we were below it. Now we're going above it. Okay, you can't resist it. You can learn, you can adjust, you can adapt, but...
So what does this cosmic change mean for humanity?
Well, it means all your shit's fucked up, right? You're not going to be fucking... If your whole entire life is based on suppositions created from a, you know, reality no longer valid, then that means everything that you're doing is probably wrong. Okay, I mean, considering, you know, like in the winter you bundle up, well, in the summer you don't need to, right? So like literally everything about how you interpret the world changes. I mean, commerce, I mean, the way our financial system's arranged, all that kind of stuff, it's all changing. What I do want to say though is right now people are grasping for authority figures to tell them stuff. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to fucking anybody else. Do your own fucking thinking and looking and understanding. That's what this is about. It's actually a great privilege to be here at this time. And Cliff mentions this a little bit when he talks about coming back from the third NDE he had, right? And he mentions literally they bribed him with 3 things. And they said, okay, well, you know, because he's a spiritual warrior, you know, if you go back, you'll, you know, get to experience the most significant battle in Earth's history, which would appeal to a soldier, a warrior / personality, right? Well, he said, not good enough. You know, and then they said, well, if you go back, you'll get to experience deeper understanding. Well, that wasn't good enough. And then they said, well, if you go back, you'll get to experience love before you pass. And well, that sold them. But anyway, you know, you can listen to him tell you. Bottom line is, though, they said there's going to be a big conflict. You know, all the sources have predicted this. And then people say, but when exactly? Well, it's kind of like the weather. The Farmer's Almanac says that spring begins in April 21st or March 21st or whatever this manufactured day is because of, you know, planets being closer and this and that. However, guess what? If Creator says, no, you're going to have winter longer, well, then there is still snow there. And that's how you know winter's going to be longer. And if the Creator says, no, there's going to be an early spring, well, the snow will have already melted by then, i.e. cosmic time obeys cosmic time. What is what is. It isn't what somebody says should occur on a date. So I know a friend that has been relying on ChatGPT to like interpret things and tell her what's going on. Stop doing this, people. Okay, you know that the AI works for the people who code it. It doesn't work for the people who use it. Like I did some investigation with ChatGPT, asked it about a world grid, which I happen to know for a verifiable 100% scientifically proven fact exists. Yet it was like, well, that's pseudoscience. No, it's not. So don't ask the jailer or the jailer's robot how to get out of jail and expect a straight answer. Okay. Right. You guys got to stop looking to the people who've been lying to you all this time, going, please tell me how to get out of the prison system. Use your own brains. Okay. Look around you, see what's happening. Do you really think that a disruption of this nature that's already happened in the last 8 days isn't going to have ripple effects in our economy for months, even if it stopped yesterday? Of course it is. Okay. We're too interconnected. We have a lot of our systems do what's called just-in-time inventory. Well, you know, you don't have big storehouses of commodities. And right now in the Gulf states, they're facing 10 days, and that's all the food they have in terms of fresh food. They have stockpiles of like basic grain and millet and stuff like this. But, you know, this is going to happen here. You know, the moment the U.S. attacked Iran, and everything they're saying is a lie. So I'll just say that. I mean, there was no reason. Okay. Yeah. Everything you're hearing about Iran being the biggest sponsor of terror is not true. Okay.
Yeah.
We're just making justifications, lame ones at that, on why we get to go steal somebody else's oil.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're the only nation state that goes into countries and arbitrarily removes heads of state because we decided to. I mean, and then when you ask America, you get the goofball clown fuckwad Obama going, you know what? We get to break rules because America is exceptional. Well, it's thinking like that that's getting your ass kicked, okay? You can't keep acting like you're the special one. I mean, when you say stuff like, we get to do this, we get to like wipe out women and children because God made us special. You sound like a fucking lunatic, okay? And then you've got U.S. military personnel going, that are these Christian Zionists going, you know what? We've got to bring about the Armageddon to bring about the Lord and Savior. That's like saying you've got to go murder your fucking neighbor to bring about the Easter Bunny. You are batshit crazy.
And what Ritter said, I love what he said when they were discussing this. He's just like, besides the fact, I mean, God controls when Armageddon is going to happen. And it's not like God doesn't need our help. If anything, we need God's help, right?
Look, we're basing our entire reality off of a collection of fucking stories that were made up to tell children to behave. Okay. And if you haven't graduated beyond that point yet, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to like what I have to say very much. So you probably should fuck off. Bottom line is, though, is if you don't want to go through the prescribed situation that happens when you light a fire and create a huge inferno, well, then you better get out your fire extinguishers. You better start to fucking act differently. You better question your government. You better fucking say, wait a minute, you know what? Just because it's written down in a book by some person and then, sorted by a bunch of priests doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. I'm going to use my own heart, my own mind, your own shit to evaluate things. Everybody now has been put on call that you need to be thinking for yourself. This is what Cliff High mentions, Martin Armstrong, the Hopi. We've had enough warning. You're here. You're already in the boat. You're going down the rapids. You better heed the advice or you're going to drown. That's it. Okay? And this is how the universe teaches. The universe teaches by unavoidable things that are. You either learn those lessons and survive and teach your future children, or you die and learn on the other side. The bottom line is everybody's going to be doing a lot of learning, okay? Right. And that's what this is all about. So if you want to make this easy, stop enabling the bullshit that your government tells you. Stop believing people. And that includes, again, me, anyone else out there who's saying shit. Stop being a follower. Think for yourself. Feel for yourself. Does it feel right to murder children? Whatever the fucking fantasy excuse is? Well, they're going to grow up to be... Shut the fuck up, monkey. I don't care. If you think murdering a 6-year-old child is good because you're going to grow up a terrorist, you're a fucking goof, okay? Yeah. If you think that fucking... Whatever excuse that fucking Carney or any other fucking piece of shit politician that we fucking elected because we're sleeping and not paying attention says about going somewhere and murdering people, you're a fucking goof, okay? Yeah. So this is why am I using this language? Because this is a big slap in the head. Wake up, people. You've got like microseconds to wake up and to stop enabling the shit.
Right.
Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be taught a very harsh lesson. And this is, I don't know what to say other than if people are still going, well, but when? It's already happened, dullard. Okay, it's already going on. Okay, it was going on when COVID happened. Okay, they are going to change the financial system. Look, the deep state has to change the system because it's a fucking Ponzi scheme that's running out of time. Okay, and also the other side has to change the system because obviously living like a bunch of clown debt slaves isn't tolerable. So bottom line is shit's got to change. When everybody's going, well, how do I know when? Well, look around you. How do you know when it's not winter anymore? There's no snow on the ground. How do you know when anything happens? You use your fucking eyes, ears, mouth, nose.
If you wanted a sign, this is it.
You got all the signs in the world, okay? There were signs happening with COVID when we locked down the fucking goddamn country for 2 years for nothing, okay? And none of the excuses made any sense. Anybody who ever breathed out in a cold day knows that air goes more than 6 feet. Okay, so what was the social distancing? It's all just Simon Says, be a stupid fool. Okay, and if you follow along, you're going to deserve exactly what Simon gets. Okay, so the point here is wake up, stop believing fucking people, use your own thinking and your own feeling to determine what's going on. Make sure you are prudent, especially if you have people who rely on you, like children, your parent. Err on the side of caution, just like you do when you drive. When you drive, even though you probably won't get in an accident, you mitigate that possibility by putting on a seatbelt on your children. Similar things.
There's definitely things you can do right now.
Of course.
To help you, or to at least help prepare. No one, I don't think, can absolutely prepare 100% for exactly what is going to happen, but you have to do something.
I mean, for people in the city, it's going to be a lot of a challenge, but you traded your ease of life during a calamity for ease of life and having a fucking 7-Eleven at the end of your block. So, you made your choices. You probably weren't too smart now in hindsight, but if you act fast, you can still probably buy property somewhere and move the fuck out of a city. I mean, I just had a mechanic friend of mine. He said, I couldn't find a tube of grease and I couldn't find any U-joints for this car I've got to fix. And he said, they've never been told that U-joints are in low supply, but he's like, they're telling me maybe they'll get their order in next week. And, he drinks beer. So he's like, and I went to the liquor store and all they have is beer. They hardly have any hard stuff because, well, they didn't get their shipment. Well, this is the beginning. Those are like the little waves that come onto the shore from the big tsunami that happened across the ocean.
Right.
Okay. Yep. First, they're just little waves. And then pretty soon they're bigger waves and bigger waves and bigger waves. And then pretty soon you're like, oh, fuck, running for your life from the beach. Okay. So we're in the opening of the little ripples coming in on the beach, and you can see it. Gas prices just shot up by 40 cents a liter overnight, virtually. When people go, well, how do we know this is the big one? Well, there's lots of indicators. There's lots of indicators that the other people on the planet have figured out how we've held people into debt slavery and created alternative systems. When America, who used the SWIFT system to control and monitor all trades globally, you just think about that, right? Everybody had to use their system. Okay, so when they cut Russia off the SWIFT, what did Russia and China realize? Well, so they could just do this whenever they want. So they created alternative systems. Okay, that was 5 years ago. And now there's alternative systems, and there's countries that have been being kept down and marginalized for, well, their entire existence virtually by Western powers and European powers under the guise of we're helping you. That's like saying to a child, I'm helping you, stop crying, slap. I'm helping you, stop crying, slap. And then, how many times do you slap that kid before it's going to get old enough to go, stop, I've had enough, boom, and punch you right in the mouth. I mean, that's what's happening. I mean, the collective everyone else has had enough. Okay, our old tricks ain't working, and this is going to be quite a shock. The U.S. has already received quite a shock. Iran hasn't fractured. It's come closer together because, when you do things like wipe out 200 little girls in the school, you're probably not going to make the country excited about doing what you want. They're going to gel and they're going to say, well, you know what? Those guys might have been a bit crazy, but you're totally fucking nuts. Forget it. And this is another thing. People who don't understand Persian psychology or Iranian psychology, because they don't understand Persia is an ancient empire, and it's been comprised of a bunch of different minorities for thousands of years. That individual was a moderate. He was the one that actually gave women's rights in Iran. And just as a consequence, not that I advocate Hal Turner because he's hyperbolic a little bit, but he did have, for people who think that it's all one-sided, statement from the chief rabbi of Iran. That's right, Iran has Jewish people in it. Okay. What did the guy say? He said, we categorically do not support any of this action going on in Iran. Hakim Dr. E. Hamani Lalazar, he is basically the head rabbi of all the Jews in Iran. And there's quite a sizable Jewish population in Iran, basically called what's going on criminal, and specifically named the American and Zionist regime. Now, the guy who just took over TikTok said he's going to make it illegal to use the word Zionist. That Zionist is now going to become like Nazi. Yet, so they think by banning people from saying a word, people aren't going to be able to convey or point fingers at who's making things worse. There's almost a civil war right now in Israel. So this perception that, all people of Jewish persuasion are behind this is false. Okay. This perception that all of the American population is behind this is false.
Yeah.
If you go to standard sources, you're going to be lied to. Okay. And so, when people say, but what should you should expect exactly what Cliff High has prognosticated, exactly what Martin Armstrong has prognosticated. We're already in World War III, and all your illusions are going to be destroyed. Okay? The more stubborn you are, the more insistent you are to hang on to these illusions, the more you're going to suffer. The easier you let go and go, okay, so I guess there's no Easter Bunny. I'm done. Moving on now. The easier time you'll have of it. Now, the good news is, okay, it ends well. Once you're off the drugs, once you're not an addict and you're not a junkie and you're not performing tricks for your crack, okay, you'll feel a whole lot better. Okay. Now, yeah, you had to be tied to a table for 2 weeks and all this other kind of inconvenient shit. But once you come to your senses, they'll all be good. And that's sort of like what's happening here. Right? Once we've detoxed, once we've come out of this, it will be a much better planet than it ever was before.
Right.
It has to be, because what was making all the problems were the parasites. Right. So once the parasites are gone, everything has to get better. It's just kind of logic.
Right.
But really at this point, stop listening to people. Do your own thinking. Okay. Learn to think. Go look up what critical thinking is. Start practicing it. Start asking yourself, when the powers that be tell you something, what would they have to gain by telling me this?
Right.
Start to be suspicious. Start to think for yourself, because certainly what the world has taught us is the standard fucking party line ain't the fucking truth anymore. So why would you keep believing that they're going to all of a sudden start telling you the truth? Well, that doesn't seem too bad. We're over here in Canada. Okay, for any of you who don't pick up a book, or in this day and age, don't look at a YouTube video about World War II or World War I, even with very limited weapon systems that they had back then, we weren't unaffected here. I know, because my grandparents survived World War II, and they told me shit was on rations. Like, it wasn't a normal existence. Half the fucking men were fighting in Europe, okay? So that meant women were in factories. That everything changed, okay? Everything was organized and regimented by the government. Okay, we put a whole bunch of Japanese people in concentration camps, took their shit, took their money, took their bank accounts. So one of the things you can expect is bank accounts will just start seizing. In fact, there was just a story of this on Hal Turner, how BlackRock had limiting withdrawals from high-end private credit funds. And this was also echoed by Blackstone and Blue Owl. That's a $1.8 trillion industry. Well, in this day and age, you don't appreciate. This is the nicest Armageddon you're going to ever get. This is the nicest war you're going to ever get, okay? Unlike all the other ones where you're reading it about, 2 months later in a newspaper and you can't really do much about it, you're getting literally, virtually updated hour by hour.
Yeah. Hourly,
minute by minute. You're seeing stuff in a pace that you would never be able to see. Yeah, a lot of it's crap, of course, but that doesn't mean you can't take the gist of it, which is shit's getting worse, not better. Okay.
Yeah. And even before the war,
well, yeah, of course, it was all. Look, I knew this shit had started when COVID happened. You don't do a major global psyop like that and then not start a war. It's basic mathematics, right? And that mean, what do you mean basic mathematics? Well, look, if you're going to commit a crime, what do you do afterwards? Have you read any murder mysteries or watched any murder movies or anything? You burn the fucking place down. Why? So there's no evidence. Okay. So COVID was one of the largest financial fucking crimes in global history, not to mention one of the largest fucking mass murder campaigns ever in global history.
Yeah.
And to cover up all the fucking evidence, which will be coming out once people can analyze the substance of all of the data, you burn the shit down. So there's no records to look at. Okay. So I knew that there was a war had to happen. Why? Because it was the most clumsy, stupid, awkward, shameful, ridiculous. If I was a global deep state elite, I would have been like literally beating my head against the wall at how incompetent that fucking whole thing was, and how much evidence they left for even blind fools to find. With the barest intention, you can find all sorts of problems with all sorts of claims about that whole boondoggle. So what? They're going to do one of the largest mass murder slash thief campaigns in human existence, and then leave the evidence for people to find so that they can, come back to you 10 years later and put you in jail? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so much.
Well,
so much.
right. So point being was this started a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And you'll think of like a strobe light when you're at a high school dance or a dance somewhere, right? It sort of makes things move in slow motion. Okay. Well, this is kind of like the strobe light effect. I mean, right now we're seeing it like, boom, this happened, COVID happened, boom, this happened, this happened, this happened. Yeah. And where's the progression? The progression isn't towards better shit, it's towards worse shit. Okay.
Right.
And when people are saying, but you keep saying this and you keep fear mongering, but when are you going to tell us what to do? I already told you I'm not going to tell you shit. Think for yourself. Okay. Never mind, other people already have told you shit. Okay. Cliff High, Martin Armstrong, but most of all, the Hopis. Go find the Hopi on YouTube and type in Hopi prophecy, type in what the Hopi say. And it goes something like this. This is how you know when you found it. Okay. This is a paraphrase, but virtually identical. A great river is coming. This is when they're discussing the time of when the fourth or fifth world would be destroyed and the next one would be built. And they said, a great river is coming. It is unavoidable. No, it has its own destination. If you hang on to the shore, you'll know great pain and be ripped apart. Throw yourself in the river, keep your head above water, treat everything as sacred, treat your water as sacred, your gardening as sacred, the environment as sacred, your relationships as sacred, and this could be a joyous time. Look in the river with you, and the people there in the river with you are your new tribe and your new family. Okay? And let the river carry you to where it's going to go. Point being, a cosmic situation is occurring. It's unavoidable. That's why they say the river's unavoidable. If you hang on to the shore, that's a metaphor for saying if you try to keep things the way they've always been, you'll be ripped apart. You cannot go against the will of creation, period. Okay? Right. Instead, keep your head above water. Throw yourself in the river. Be flexible. The river has its own destination, which means the river is going to carry you where it wants you to go. Just breathe. Just survive. This could be the very thing people have always known in their heart they wanted: a simpler time, an easier time when you don't have to fucking look on your socials, when you don't have to care, if the filter you use to make yourself look pretty was correct and all the blah, 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 the other garbage that you have to spend your days on. Instead, you're just thinking of, well, do I've got enough food today? Well, then it's a good day. Okay. Do I have people around me that make me laugh? Then it's a good day. Is the air clean? Then it's a good day. Am I still breathing? Yeah, then it's a good day. You see, your life's going to get a whole lot simpler. And that's going to contain a whole bunch of lessons. What's really important? The simple things in life. We make our lives entirely too complicated because we're brainwashed junkies. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when do I say that? Why is that actually accurate? Go listen, watch, absorb. What the bleep do we know? Okay. Mm-hmm. There's a section in there where the chick goes to the wedding and she's talking about getting engaged in some drama. And a neuroscientist comes on and explains peptides. Okay. So you go watch that whole thing, and then that's why you're a junkie. You're junkie to the very things that keep you unsatisfied. Mm-hmm. And we're all, well, not we all, but a lot of people are addicted to the very things they claim they don't like. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to be a forced withdrawal. Bottom line is, though, is like, look, you're already given a privileged position. Whether you fucking stay or go, it doesn't matter. You were allowed to be here at a time of great change. This is already a privilege. Right.
And if this is your army, why does it go?
We didn't come here to fight for them.
Oh, the English are too many.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace.
William Wallace is 7 feet tall.
Yes, I've heard. Kills men by the hundreds. And if he were here, he'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes and bolts of lightning from his arse. I am William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do with that freedom? Will you fight?
Right? Against that? No! We will run!
And we will live. Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your bed many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!